Beyond the port of call, first tonight on our news. The opposition welcoming the opening of the Nassau cruise port, but says downtown's revitalization must expand well beyond the multi-million-dollar development. Plus, the development's boom on Cat Island. In tonight's Work in Progress segment, we'll highlight some recent upgrades. Also, on the hunt for suspects, police investigating two armed robberies hours apart, one leading to the sexual assault of a woman. And later, scenes from the 50th On Bay Street Festival on the road to independence. Our news at 7:30 starts right now. Welcome to our news, and thanks so much for joining us this Whit Monday. I'm Jamila Missick. We are following the latest shooting of a man in the capital this afternoon. Police telling our news around 5 o'clock this afternoon, the victim was shot on Deliverance Way off Malcolm Allotment East. What we know so far is that he was taken to hospital in a private vehicle. His condition is unknown at this hour. As we said, we are following this, and we will have the latest available at ournews.bs. We'll have the full crime report coming up in just a bit, but now to this. As the country witnessed the opening of the mega $250 million cruise port in Nassau this past Friday, marking another phase of the revamping and redevelopment of downtown Nassau. But as government touts its far-reaching benefits, Megan Shepherd tells us the opposition is hoping the wider downtown experience will match the newly developed port of call.
Leader of the Free National Movement, Michael Pintard, says improving the look and feel of downtown Nassau is a matter of urgency on the heels of the opening of the newly developed Nassau cruise port.
There is a group, a consortium of business owners on Bay Street and owners of the property itself who have started a number of initiatives that we believe could pay dividends. One of them is the boardwalk. I recall as Minister of Agriculture participating in that process of helping in the extension of the board by making a portion of the agriculture property available.
Another consideration Pintard is lobbying for is turning Bay Street into a mixed-use space.
The possibility of residential component, as well as ensuring that there are entertainment spots that come back to Bay Street. There is a need for urgent collaboration between the government, private sector to breathe life in Bay Street.
And while the opening of the Nassau cruise port is welcomed news, Pintard says efforts must expand beyond the new port of call.
There's no reason why there cannot be a reenactment of history at our forts. There's no reason why we can't transform Collins House into something absolutely powerful. We need a national museum, a national library, and these are things we should move hastily to put in place.
He also encouraged more Bahamian authenticity by local artisans.
We have to discontinue appropriating other people's culture, selling their products. We have to produce our own. And so it is important to make sure in these spaces that we display Bahamian cuisines and the artisans have an opportunity to sell their products, and that we also, through grants, loans, taking an equity position in these artisans' business, that we allow them to transition from foreign manufactured products into Bahamian products.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Megan Shepherd.
And the projected cruise business expected with this newly opened cruise port has other stakeholders in the tourism industry excited about the opportunities. Bahamas President Graham Davis telling our news that as it stands, the mega resort already partners with various cruise lines to offer day passes to guests. And more visitors means more potential business.
We already have relationships with multiple cruise lines here for Baja Bay, our $200 million luxury water park. And on any given day, we may have up to several hundred cruise passengers come for the day to Baja Bay. They may stop in our current to look at our art program with John Cox and our Executive Director of Art and Culture. Our Mini Blue, our professional miniature golf course. Come to Pizza Lab, have a pizza, spend the day at Baja Mar. We'd love to see cruise passengers come on over. And so as this destination grows from a cruise passenger visitor stopover, it's all great for the Bahamas.
Davis says he's hoping state-of-the-art upgrades and further revitalization of the area will help convert cruise passengers from stopover visitors to heads in bed.
And that's where Bahamas has an opportunity to get a cruise conversion from a cruise passenger to a stayover. And when a stayover guest comes to the Bahamas, they are exponentially putting more money into the economy. And so it's great for all of us to have this type of quality here in Nassau. And certainly, I believe, a catalyst for downtown to really start to thrive, and the competition will be there. And we'll start to see a transformation to downtown.
And from one major development to another, we're talking about the multi-million-dollar development at Hurricane Hole, which is said to be progressing steadily. A senior executive sharing more about the existing as well as upcoming job opportunities with Joshua Williams.
Developers of the Hurricane Hole Superyacht Marina on Paradise Island telling our news that plans for major upgrades of the facility will lead to thousands of jobs.
We're financing a lot of developments here now that are going through big developments, and we have over $100 million lent out to third parties that are doing developments, so they're also creating jobs. So all in all, indirectly or directly, we're probably helping with 1,000 jobs at least.
In addition to construction jobs, owner of the marina and executive chairman of Sterling Global Financial Limited, David Kasoy, says a number of other facilities are in the works.
That are in from out of town, from Chicago, a very well-known restaurant. So that's started the construction. And the supermarket should be open this fall, which you can see all the walls are up and everything. And it's Sawyer's out of Grand Bahama. We've opened a pharmacy recently here, which is the first pharmacy on the island ever. And we're having a huge medical clinic opening shortly. Leases are signed.
In the meantime, Kasoy says Sterling Global Financial Limited has focused its efforts on job placement for workers in over-the-hill communities.
And we have actually done that now with kids from over the hill who are unemployed, and they're now employed in training programs with us, so they now have a job. And I put other people out there, other corporations, to give these kids a chance.
Kasoy says developments should be completed by 2025. Reporting for our news, I'm Joshua Williams.
Thanks, Joshua. We are now less than 2 days away from government's new fiscal budget communication in the House of Assembly, and many are waiting with bated breath to see what the new fiscal plan will bring. Works and Utilities Minister Alfred Sears has recently gone on record ahead of the tabling, prefacing new allocations within his ministry, and spoke with our news about a number of public-private partnerships government has signed. But the opposition is weighing in tonight, saying it has high expectations for the new budget. We'll tell you all about it in a moment. But first, we check in with meteorologist Greg Thompson, who is in the Weather Center with your first look at temperatures. Greg?
Yeah, thanks, Jamila, and a happy Whit Monday, everybody. A wet pattern around the islands today as we still have some moisture in place, and that's coupled with an upper-level trough that's moving across the area, keeping us under partly cloudy skies outside our studios. 84 degrees is our current temperature. Your winds are out of the north at 6 miles per hour, and your field-side temperature, a very humid 84 degrees. Satellite and radar composite showing a lot of moisture still across us. Isolated showers and thunderstorms. We had 1 or 2 of those boomers earlier here in the capital. Most of this now moved towards the east, but we are still looking for more showers and thunderstorms as this pattern remains with us for at least 1 more day. Then we get some dry air mass moving in and more showers expected for the balance of the week. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to go.
We are just getting started in our news, but when we come back, 50th on Bay, scenes from today's street festival on the road to our 50th independence. But first, some high expectations as the new fiscal budget communication is just days away. Plus, spotlight on Cat Island, as recent upgrades are highlighted in tonight's Work in Progress segment when our news returns.
At Doctors Hospital, our lamp just got brighter. The Loyalty Advantage membership program now has 3 unique plans to choose from. From Lamp Prepaid with free prime care visits and service line discounts, Lamp Insured with copay waivers and zero upfront collections at the ER and inpatient services, or our new Lamp Access, a free plan that offers 10% off labs, pharmacy, and imaging. Lamp has a plan for everyone. To sign up, visit our website or give us a call. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now.
Two armed robberies, one involving the sexual assault of a woman, now under active investigation. Police tell us it was shortly before 7 p.m. on Sunday when a Marlborough Street woman who was on her property at the time was approached by an unknown armed male. Police say she was sexually assaulted and then robbed of an undisclosed amount of money. Hours later, at about 2 a.m., police say two armed men robbed a woman of her 2009 Honda CR-V, license plate number AK5396, while in the area of Blue Hill Road North. Police say the suspects fled in the vehicle, heading north. That license plate number again, AK5396. And police are also on the lookout tonight for two other stolen vehicles. The first is a white 2008 Nissan Tita, license plate number AW6486. Police say it was stolen from the residence in the Carmichael Road area between 11 p.m. on Saturday and 8:30 a.m. Sunday. The second vehicle is a gold 2009 Toyota Passo bearing license plate number AV2415. Police say it was stolen from a residence in southeastern New Providence around 10 p.m. on Sunday. If you have any information, you are asked to contact Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS. To see those license plate numbers again, visit ournews.bs. In just a few days, the Davis administration will present its second fiscal budget, which lays the government's financial plan for the next year. Opposition leader Michael Pintard says the budget should reveal the government's plan to grow the economy, among other things. Brittany McDermott reports.
Ahead of the 2023-2024 budget communication, opposition leader Michael Pintard says there are a number of key components needed in the upcoming budget communication, including provisions that lead to economic growth and, by extension, improving the ease of doing business in the Bahamas.
There are local investors who are frustrated. They feel that this government is strangling their business by putting so many requirements on them to simply register or to start a new business. We'd like to know, will the government loosen this grip that it has on businesses?
When the last budget communication was presented, Pintard said at the time the communication fell short of helping grow the economy, adding it failed to address key priorities as Bahamians grapple with the high cost of living. And now, heading into a new fiscal communication, he's asking about funding for small and medium-sized businesses.
They have a chance to improve upon its contribution to the small business community, and we don't see evidence of it.
Pintard says those are just a few examples of how businesses are being strangled. Additionally, he says e-government needs to be fast-tracked to allow for an easier interaction between agencies. He says he's also curious about plans to reduce subventions to state-owned enterprises such as Bahamas Power and Light and Bahamas Air.
Will they continue to ramp up the subventions? Will they continue to hire persons where it's questionable whether their skill set is going to improve these institutions or not?
But more than that, the Free National Movement is also expecting a debt management strategy.
We want to understand clearly how much money are we spending to service the debt that we have, and what gains have they made since they have retained the various experts, the international experts, to help them.
Prime Minister Philip Davis is expected to present the country's new fiscal roadmap in the House of Assembly on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Reporting for Our News, I'm Brittany McDermott.
The fringe political group Coalition of Independents is criticizing the Davis administration for overspending. Its leader Lincoln Bain says while spending continues, there are seemingly no results.
We see no new roads, we see no hospital, no new schools, we see nothing. And so we are concerned with this major debt that we are in, and the spending is continuing.
His comments come as the Davis administration is set to deliver its budget communication this week. While we've heard the opposition's position on government's debt management strategy heading into the new fiscal year, the COI leader says the country is facing a crime and immigration crisis. compounded by a worsening healthcare system, which he says requires more than building hospitals.
We have a crime crisis that there seems to be no solutions for. We are going to start presenting some of our solutions with qualified persons to be able to deal with this. We have an immigration crisis, all right? The government is pretending that they are doing enough. They are not doing enough. They are repatriating persons that are found out to sea that we can count and calculate, but yet we see the shanty towns building up. Who is going into these shanty towns? Who is going there? We heard the Defense Force say that they see less persons coming into the Bahamas from Haiti and Cuba. How do you know that?
When our news comes back from the break, the 50th On Bay Street Festival bringing hundreds of locals and tourists into the city center for an authentically Bahamian experience. We've got highlights. And pet owners beware. Hurricane season looms. Do you have a plan? The Humane Society reminding owners to consider their furry friends in storm prep plans. But first, the development boom on Cat Island that's led to infrastructure upgrades. Our Marlena Leonard takes a look in tonight's Work in Progress segment when our news continues.
Shareholders are very happy.
This is our news. Welcome back. Cat Island is seeing a boom of development, and naturally, the local infrastructure is also seeing an upgrade with the help of the Ministry of Works and Utilities. In tonight's Work in Progress, our Marlena Leonard has the details.
Cat Island has a lot of work coming its way, according to the senior engineer for the Family Islands, David Cox.
We have a PPP for the road projects. That's going to be about 50 miles of road works. And we also have incorporated with that major waterworks. In actual fact, we have over 90 miles of pipeline, which includes upgrading of or installation of new pipelines.
The works will include major waterworks, and tanks will be installed in conjunction with the roadworks. The senior engineer tells us overall, between the roadworks and waterworks, the project comes out to $80 million, expected to be complete in the next 2.5 years. There are also plans in the pipeline for the construction of a new airport for New Bight. Cox says when that starts, the airport will have to be closed.
All the traffic will be diverted to the Arthurstown runway. Now, Arthurstown runway is in a very bad state, and that runway needs to be resurfaced, and the building needs to be repaired. So before we could start New Bight, or before we could start the runway in New Bight, the Arthurstown runway needs to be repaired. That contract was recently signed. We suspect that that work will be starting maybe in the next month or so. As I said, that contract has already been awarded, so that contractor will be on the ground very soon.
Reporting for Work in Progress for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Bay Street coming alive today for the 50th On Bay Street Festival. It's all a part of a number of events leading up to the country's 50th year of independence. Scores of residents and even some visitors taking part in the cultural event, which saw displays of ring play, Bahamian cuisine and drinks, painting, live entertainment, and much more. These residents say it was the perfect way to spend their Whit Monday holiday.
This is something very, very good. This is very good. And see, the natives have an opportunity there.
I'm elated. It's my contribution to see where the country has come from, where we're going, and we're including all of our entrepreneurs, our young and budding and some seasoned entrepreneurs. So giving everyone an opportunity to make some money during this time.
I think this 50th on Bay is an absolutely wonderful opportunity for us to come out. It's an amalgamation of taste, of color, of feeling. You have persons from all walks of life that have come out to celebrate the fact that we are 50 years old. And it's everybody coming out and having a wonderful time and showing appreciation for where we have come as a people.
And these first-time visitors from Austin, Texas say the street festival was quite a highlight.
This is amazing. Today's our last day. We've been here for a week, and so this was a great way to end our trip.
Still ahead on Our News tonight, pet owners beware. Hurricane season looms. Do you have a plan? The Humane Society reminding owners to consider their furry friends in storm prep plans. Plus, Greg is back with your extended weather forecast when Our News returns. Welcome back to Our News. We are just days away from the start of the Atlantic hurricane season, which means by now residents should be readying to weather any possible disturbances. But if you've got pets, the Bahamas Humane Society is reminding you not to forget your animals in your plans for the season. While none of us want to be in a situation where we have to evacuate, President Kim Arana is urging you to be prepared.
If you feel that you live in an area that you're going to have to evacuate, it's really not nice to leave your animal behind. So prepare now, get yourself a dog cage or a crate or a traveling crate if you need to go and stay with relatives who don't want your dog running around. Be prepared, have food, have your meds for your dog. Make sure you have enough fresh water to share with him. You know, people say a gallon a day for every individual. Well, please remember your dog counts as an individual. Your cat won't need as much.
While it may seem like a hassle to take your pets with you in the case of an emergency, Arana says the alternative is simply not an option.
You must take them with you because leaving them in the house, if the water comes in and it goes up, drowning is a terrible way to go. And they're your pets. They're part of your family. You have to act that way.
And speaking of hurricane preparation, we turn our attention to the Weather Center, where meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by with more in your extended weather forecast. Greg?
Yeah, thanks again, Jamila. Welcome back, everybody, for our With Monday final check on weather. Of course, yeah, you mentioned the hurricane season is about to start. June 1st begins the official 2023 Atlantic hurricane season. Got those numbers already for you. We'll tell you about those later on in the week. We'll also give you some tips on how to prepare for the upcoming Atlantic hurricane season. But in the meantime, we have a wet weather pattern in place still across our area. Moisture down in the low to mid levels, coupled with an upper level trough that's moving across the area. That's triggering some showers and some isolated thunderstorms across our area. We will anticipate a low pressure system and an upper level disturbance moving out of the Gulf of Mexico. Look like it's taking shape across the far western Gulf. That is expected to get near by the weekend, and that's going to continue to increase our chances for some showers and thunderstorms. So look like we are going to stick in this wet weather pattern over the course of the next couple of days. Taking a look at our forecast map starting this evening, a couple isolated showers in the forecast, and then by Tuesday, get some more showers. Most of the activity will be pulling out towards the east and away from the Bahamas, and then of course in the Gulf of Mexico, we're watching that disturbance approach us and should be near the Florida area by the middle of the week, bringing us some increased chances for some showers and thunderstorms throughout the remainder of the week. Boating forecast for the northwest Bahamas. The winds will be light and variable tonight, but they become more 5 to 10 knots tomorrow. Seas running 1 to 3 feet over the ocean. Your low tide will be at 10:36 tonight. For the central and southeast Bahamas, your winds will be more southeast to south at 10 to 15 knots. Wave heights running 2 to 4 feet over open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In your extended forecast, showers in the forecast throughout the balance of the week. We could see some big boomers out there, some strong to severe thunderstorms anticipated by the end of the week, and that looks like it continues through to next week. That's a look at our weather. Have a safe evening, everybody.
Thanks, Greg, and thank you for joining us for Our News Tonight. For all of today's top stories, you can visit ournews.bs. And remember, you can share your favorites right from Our News Bahamas Facebook page. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Jamila Mizik. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.